From the outside, Dahlia Monroe was a picture of grace and kindness. She was the girl next door, the one who brought cookies to the neighbors and volunteered at the community shelter every weekend. To those who knew her, or thought they did, she was a devoted daughter, a loving sister, and a bright young woman destined for greatness. But behind her gentle smile was a darkness so deeply buried that no one could see it until it was too late. What began as a seemingly normal summer in the quiet town of Roselake unraveled into a chilling mystery, a twisted web of lies, secrets, and blood. The town would soon learn that the girl they had trusted, celebrated, and embraced was hiding a monstrous truth. This is the haunting story of a family slaughtered in silence, of a killer who wore compassion like a mask, and of the unraveling of one woman's carefully curated facade. The Monroe family lived in an old, charming house at the end of Willow Lane. With its ivy-covered walls and blooming rose garden, it was the kind of place that seemed to glow with warmth. Dr. Simon Monroe, the patriarch, was a respected therapist. His wife, Evelyn, a retired school teacher, was known for organizing bake sales and book clubs. Their sons, Mason and Caleb, were athletic, ambitious, and adored by their classmates. And then there was Dahlia, bright, beautiful Dahlia. She was the oldest child. Studious, poised, polite. She had earned a scholarship to a prestigious university but returned home after a health scare. No one asked questions. She resumed her life as though nothing had changed. She baked, cleaned, helped her father in his office, and was always smiling. Always smiling. To the town, the Monroes were perfect. But inside that house, everything was falling apart. Simon was not the nurturing father he appeared to be. Behind closed doors, he was cold, critical, even cruel. Evelyn, once vibrant and nurturing, had grown distant. Mason and Caleb, with all their charm and popularity, often bullied Dahlia, mocking her for her quiet nature and fragile mental state. Dahlia kept it inside. She always had. Her journal entries, discovered later, painted a portrait of a girl unraveling. "They don't see me. I'm the ghost in the hall," one entry read. "They laugh, and it echoes like knives in my head. I smile, but inside I am screaming." It began on a rainy Thursday. No one knew what triggered it. Perhaps it was the way her father belittled her at dinner, or the way her brothers laughed when she dropped a plate, or the wine her mother spilled on her favorite dress and didn't even apologize. Dahlia waited until midnight. She had rehearsed it 100 times in her mind. Simon was first. She crept into his study, a syringe in hand, stolen from the local clinic where she volunteered. A sedative, followed by a swift strike with the fireplace poker. No sound, no struggle. She stood over his body, breathing heavily, then calmly walked upstairs. Evelyn was asleep, unaware that her husband lay dead downstairs. Dahlia stood over her for nearly 10 minutes, just watching, remembering every cold shoulder, every disappointed glance, every wordless sigh. She pressed the pillow to her mother's face. Evelyn woke, but it was too late. The silence that followed was so loud it made Dahlia laugh. A quiet, almost childlike giggle. Mason and Caleb shared a room. Teenagers, full of dreams and future plans. They never saw it coming. Dahlia drugged their drinks earlier that evening, just a mild sedative. Enough to dull their senses. One after the other, she struck. Mason stirred but couldn't fight back. Caleb whispered her name in confusion. She whispered back, "Sleep now. It's better this way." The next morning, Dahlia made breakfast. She cleaned the blood, disposed of the weapons, and even sent out emails from her parents' accounts canceling their plans. She told the neighbors they had left town for a retreat. She kept up the garden. She paid bills. She smiled. Weeks passed. Then months. No one suspected a thing. But silence doesn't last forever. A family friend grew suspicious. Too many excuses. Too few sightings. Police came. Dahlia offered tea. She told them her family was in Italy, and they believed her. Until one officer noticed the smell. They found the bodies buried in the backyard under the rose garden. Dahlia didn't run. She didn't cry. She smiled. As they cuffed her hands, she whispered, "I finally have peace." The town was in shock. The newspapers called her the garden killer. The trial drew national attention. Dahlia pled guilty, but not without speaking. In court, she recounted the years of pain, the torment, the isolation. Some felt pity. Others only horror. The judge called her act calculated and monstrous. But Dahlia only smiled. In prison, she wrote a memoir. "They taught me how to kill me, before I killed them," she wrote. It became a bestseller. People debated, was she a victim or just evil? No one could say for sure. The Monroe home still stands, but it's empty now. Weeds choke the rose garden. The windows are boarded. But sometimes, neighbors swear they see her, a woman with long hair, standing at the window, smiling. The girl who killed everyone who said they loved her. The girl who smiled even as her world turned red. What makes a killer? Is it hate, hurt, or something so invisible we only see it after the blood has dried? Dahlia Monroe wore her pain behind a smile, and by the time the world saw the truth, it was far too late. If this story chilled you, if it made you feel something, anger, sadness, fear, then share it. Talk about it. Because sometimes, the monsters we fear the most are the ones we never suspect. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to True Crime Hub for more stories that hide in the shadows.